That is the sound of a distracted, divided, and dead American until they hear. Battle for Freedom, triggering change, one heartbeat at a time. Hello, everyone. This is Watson Prunier from Battle for Freedom on Mojo 50 Radio, and I'm glad that you're following me as we Happy New Year. We're starting this new year off. It is 2021, and I don't know what you are doing basically for this year, but for me, I'm ready to make this thing happen and enjoy and have so much. Yes, we're getting rid of that sound. We're getting rid of that sound of a dead life. There's no value of being torn down by a previous year of 2020 and making you feel like a failure all the time. Well, I'm your host, Watson Prunier. It's the year 2020. I don't even know if you people are awake right now, but I am. And listen, this is going to be very key, and this is going to be very important as we sit here trying to make sense of all that 2020 was and what 2021 is going to be for you. So my website's battle4freedom.com. I want you to go there, share it out with as many people as you possibly can. This is very important. Many of you are probably still trying to recover from your hangover. Oh, well, we see that Mitchell is still awake, so awesome. Glad that you're awake, Mitchell, and that you are ready to engage. He decided he was going to go to facebook.com/Mojo50 Radio because of the fact that he is awake. He probably went to sleep. Well, we stayed up all the way up to midnight, and we just said Happy New Year, kissed each other, and then we passed out. Yeah, those partying days are gone, and it's okay. It's a good thing. If you went to sleep early yesterday, there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. Because of the fact that there are more important things in life rather than making yourself feel so obligated to be up during the middle of all this craziness. I see Curtis, I see Steven, and I see Lep and Jill and Josh. Thank you. Happy New Year, folks. Happy New Year, and we're gonna have fun here. And see, this is what I want to do. And if you started late to the program, this was the graphic that you see, like a bunch of strainers, and it's straining, well, filtering. And on the right side, the image just basically shows some pages that people probably don't go to anymore. But this filtering, I think that what happens is in the midst of us. Because remember, 2020 was a big reset. Last year, yesterday, was a big reset for a lot of us because of the fact that, we had lockdowns. We found all this extra time on our hands. And we found ourselves doing a lot of different things. Like what I found for myself, which was really crazy, is I have a problem. I'm Watson. My name is Watson. I'm the host of Battle for Freedom. My website's battle4freedom.com. And I have an addiction with streaming services. And so I have to limit how much I watch because it gets in the way of me doing everything that I believe God has called me to do. And I believe it gets in the way of everything God's called us to do. Like today, I'm excited. The new season, the third season of Cobra Kai comes out. And it's like, well, do I waste my whole day, watching all this stuff, or do I spend a better time making my lists of all the different things that I want to do and accomplish something and accomplish something in my life? What choices do I want to make, or do I allow myself to keep doing the same things over and over and over again? Now, I want to repeat something that I do a lot, and I've done through 2020 and even before that, and that's actually celebrating American Pride Roasters coffee because that's how important and amazing they are. That's it. I've hit the snooze button a dozen times, and now I have to finally get going. But I'm not going to do this day right if I don't start it off with a cup of American Pride Roasters coffee, the official coffee of Mojo 50 Radio. But I'm not going to lie to you. They have a wide variety of blends, but I'm leaning towards the one that's named after me, Watson's White Chocolate Caramel. You know what? It sounds as good as those words that just rolled off of my mouth. Listen, get it today. AmericanPrideRoasters.com. Tell them that Watson from Battle for Freedom sent you, and you want Watson's White Chocolate Caramel Blend to start your day off. Join American Pride Roasters Coffee and Mojo 50 Radio, and most important, Battle for Freedom,
as we celebrate the best coffee in the nation, American Pride Roasters.
So American Pride Roast, just do me a favor. Get yourself a bag. I believe everybody who won last week on the 4 days of Java, they should have received their packages. I sent them emails. Some emails didn't. One email didn't work, but I've notified everybody to let you know that your things should have arrived. Not only that, I also want you to understand as we start this whole year, there's just different things we want to do. Still want you to go and get yourself a cat cooler because it's very important as we keep thinking that we're coming into an world, a Earth exchanging or extinction level event with whatever happens on the 6th of this month.
When the world is going to hell in a handbasket, you need rugged, you need strong, you need durable, you need cat coolers. These are the best coolers on the market in 27, 55, and 88 quart. Go to catcoolers.com and give them the code Watson to save 10% on your purchase. Don't settle for those substandard containers that melt, leak, and destroy your memorable moments. Tell them that Watson from Battle4Freedom sent you. Cat Coolers.
Yes.
When the world is going to hell in a handbasket.
When the world is going to hell in a handbasket. That's what it's going to seem like over the next few years. And you know what? And here's the reason why I say we need to be kind of careful with this is because of the fact that, you know what, a lot of these different things that we've been watching, a lot of these different things that we've been paying attention to, you know what it's done to us? It's made us very skeptical. And you know what, and trust me, I know being skeptical is really crazy. But I think that one of the things that we're going to have to do, and I want a lot of us to have success. We had a lot of extra time in our hands, but what we found out, though, was that we didn't have as much success. We didn't accomplish as much as we wanted to last year. And I'm telling you, the reason why we didn't do it is because of the fact that sometimes we lose that function on how we do this is because of there's this input-output thing here. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Where thank you for being part of the program and just joining us, and it's just really appreciative of you doing this. It's very important when we sit here and you start filtering out things. You filter out things, you filter out garbage because of the fact that what you take in and what goes out. And I believe that there's a lot of things that we have taken in over the years. Believe that it's, excuse me. Ooh, that was a bad one. I believe that there's sometimes a lot of things that we take into our system that allows us to be distracted, and we don't know how to process some of those different things. We take in toxins, we take in toxic people, we take in toxic mentalities, and unfortunately, when we entertain that stuff, it keeps us distracted, and it affects us in a negative way, mentally, physically, psychologically, spiritually. And sometimes the best thing that we can do is just figure out how enabling or basically enabling filtering to have a cleaner year. Happy New Year, Robert. Thank you for being part of this program as we sit here. We're in 2021. We're in 2021. Praise God. You are here. You are alive. And I'm letting you know that there's an opportunity for you to succeed. It just depends on how are you going to approach this year. Are we going to continue doing things the way we did last year? Or are we going to go and do them a different way? If you choose to continue doing things the way that you did last year, I don't know what to say to you. There's just going to be nothing but drama. There's nothing but going to be stress in your life. Even as people are worried, literally right now, people are so worked up, so worried about what the next Wednesday is going to look like. Is Pence going to make the thing illegal? Are there enough people going to speak up? Or is Donald Trump going to be president again? And I'm sitting here, I'm like, filter the drama out so you can actually process your life better. It's time to go through the filtering. I showed MySpace and I showed LimeWire. I showed a lot of these other different things. It's time for us to start filtering things in our lives so that you can have a cleaner life. I mean, think about this. When we turn around and we put the coffee in the grinder, and you or even you put it in the what you would basically allow the coffee process to go through, you put it in a coffee filter, and the filter just allows the liquid and whatever you get pulled out of that, and it basically goes into the cup. We sometimes, one of my old landlords, she'd have this really cool filter that she'd use for her red wine, because they said that even in drinking red wine, and as great as it would seem like it would be, sometimes it's better to turn around and run it through a filter, so that you don't have to worry about it having impurities in the wine. I'm asking you to start considering using filters. You have to, and I believe that those filters have existed there for a long time. I think that they were even shown to you in the midst of everything going on, in the midst of 2020. The question is like, you're like, well, am I really ready to make that jump? Am I really ready to take that serious of a leap in my life? Because that's cutting out some serious things that I've grown attached to, that it's actually just been a part of my life, and I don't know how to live without it. I'm serious. When you sit here and you look at these things, this year, one of the things I have to filter out is I'm going back to school. Today, I'm doing the pre-work for stuff for school, because I'm pursuing my degree. I've been promising getting my books out. I've been promising going back to school. I've been promising so many of these different things that I want to get accomplished, but I'm trying to figure out why I can't get this stuff done. But the problem is that I don't want to filter out the things in my life that are preventing me from getting it done. I'm adding all these extra activities in my life, making all this extra time, and I'm happy. There's so much fun spending time with everybody. There's a group listening right now. There's an awesome group of people listening right now. They're part of the Off Track Whiskey team. That's basically, that comes on Sunday nights at 8 p.m. And they're listening. Like, there's a group of them. They have a Zoom meeting going on, and they're listening to a show where they're communicating and they're laughing. Thank you guys you guys are something else. You're hilarious. And as much as and I'm gonna have to cut it down to maybe, if I can do once a quarter, or if I could do probably twice a year, but I really need to get my things done. And so as I sit here trying to filter things out, literally as soon as my work day is done between 5 and 6 p.m., you're probably not going to see me on social media, because the books are open and it's time to get busy. And I'm asking you to do the same thing too. I don't know what your schedule is like. I don't know what your life looks like and how chaotic it may be. You may be a road driver, like, with whiskey and rusty lug nuts and so many of the other different people. You may be a road traveler, you may be a trucker, and that life keeps you on the road, keeps you active, keeps you moving. So you have to have a completely different schedule on how do you focus and put your energies into what you're pursuing in life. I don't know what it looks like, but every last one of us, we have an opportunity to look at how we have allowed our lives to get, in disarray, and we are angry that we can't control it any better. I'm saying that there are tools that allow us to do this. One of the ones that I do, and this is a tool that I work with. This is a tool that I have at work, and I've actually bought a trial version of this, and I'm going to encourage you to look into this, because the fact that this is a tool that allows you to do task management. Now, there probably might be other tools that are out there, but here's one that I use. It's one I provide support at work, and it's called Atlassian Jira. And so it's called Jira software. Like, if you wanted to run this on your computer at home, it's $10. Up until this February, I believe is the 4th, between the 2nd and 4th of this year, of next month, you have up until then if you wanted to buy a $10 license, and it's a new license that you would purchase. You can test it out, just trial out if you want to right now on the 1st, and you can still have your 30 days of testing it out and decide whether or not you want to own the full-blown version of this tool. But I highly recommend that you look into getting something like this or another tool that allows you to do project management, task scheduling, and so much more. I mean, and what I'm saying, and when I say do this, is because this isn't just for you. 2021 isn't just about our success. It's also about our success of helping and enabling other people to be successful. That means giving tools. I'm hoping that in this year, as I sit here, I'll talk about the topics, I'll talk about the news, I'll cover a lot of the different things that are out there, but I'm hoping that I can give you more tools. You're not going to pay me for this. This is just knowledge I want you to have so that you can figure out a way to just start incorporating these levels of success in your life so you're not frustrated, right? But it starts with this whole idea of enabling filtering, because there's all these different topics that are out there. Here are some of the different things that I saw on news articles out there. One of them said organic meat, environmental organic meat produces greenhouse gas emissions compared to regular meat. It's about the same difference, so it doesn't really matter. So you don't need to pursue it. You don't need to make that an effort. This is what the experts will try and keep telling you. And there's some experts that we really need to start basically cleaning out and stop listening to some of these people, because they don't have all the answers, and they keep flipping the script left and right. We don't get consistent answers from them. And there's always going to be a negative Nancy that when there's a positive thing that's going on, there's a positive thing going on, and we think that we're moving in the right direction, there's always going to be someone who's going to be negative and try and take you down. There's always going to be someone who's going to try and share something to just who's going to sit there. They're going to see your success. They're going to see the potential of your success. They're going to turn around. They're going to say, don't do that. Don't do that. Because you have to understand, you'll find out if you pay attention to your life a little bit better, and you see where some of the successes are that God is giving you in your life. Many people feed off of your success. I'm talking to you. You're listening here. You may have been told that you have no value. You have maybe been told that you matter nothing or anything like that. But stop and pay attention and see how God has blessed you. You've bowed the knee. You've bowed the heart. You've bowed your will to Christ. You've been pursuing him with passion. And what happens is God has been opening all the success in your life. And all of a sudden, when you start going to a new direction, or you start making some new changes of improving your life, people are going to tell you, don't do that. You don't, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Because sometimes they've been made depending on you. Like for me, again, I appreciate all of you listening to me right now, but understand this. God's word is going to be more powerful and enlightening to you than I ever can be. God's word is what I need in my life so that I can make the right decision, so I can focus in the right direction, so I can be a blessing to you. And I'm asking us that we continue to be a blessing to other people. But it starts with us filtering. Good morning, Patricia. Good morning, Heidi. It starts with us filtering and figuring this whole process out. It's 2021. We're going to enable filtering in our lives, and we're going to start having a cleaner year. Not this environmental nonsense. You know what? Let's go with the environmental stuff, but the environment is going to be around us, okay? Because before, like the whole idea of before you can in the plane before you can put the mask on a child, you need to put the mask on yourself, and so that you can have the wherewithal to basically function and how you can help other individuals. You know what? 2020 was that opportunity for us to see where we can make the improvements in our lives, where we can make the changes, where we can grow, and if we choose to continue making the poor decisions that we've done, you know what? I'm sorry. 2020 even though we've left that year, you're going to have a continual series of drama, a continuous series of pain, a continuous series of lockdowns and restrictions and infections and so much more. because we've been infected with pride, we've been infected with rebellion, we've been infected with a haughtiness that we don't believe we can learn from anybody else. Enabling filtering, but it's filtering out which things matter. Like, here's one I saw too, that they were talking about, job claims fall to, here it is. It was like, yeah, the jobless claims fall down to 787,000. Okay, but it's still 4 times the level if it was pre-pandemic, pandemic. And I'm sitting there thinking, I was like, so we're seeing that the rates are dropping. The rates are dropping, but because of the fact that they don't, but here's the funny part about it. Think about even in that negative Nancy thing that's so crazy and so idiotic about what they're saying and how they can't give the president credit, but how they can't sit there and acknowledge that the economy was successful under President Trump. Okay? It wasn't other people trying to take credit for what Trump has done. The economy was successful, and it is successful. It will continue to be successful. Don't pay attention to what these quote, again, this is from the experts, the negative Nancys who don't have anything that they can say when you think about the whole idea of the country being shut down, and we have all this success that is growing and all these opportunities that are presenting itself, and so it's time to start filtering some of the nonsense out. I mean, listen, here's one of the things I'm going to say, and I really mean this. Again, I really appreciate every last one of you listening to my program. But if Battle for Freedom gets in the way of you pursuing your dreams, cut off Battle for Freedom. I would rather lose you and see you succeed in your life rather than have you interacting with me and losing those opportunities that God has presented to you. I'm willing to let my ego suffer. I'm willing to see only 2 or 3 people who are watching live, low numbers on iHeartRadio, if it means that you are pursuing life the way that God has intended you to do. I do not want to be a stumbling block on your road to success. All I want to do is give you a lift up. I want to give you a hand. I want to hold out my hand and pull you back in if you just need someone to try and help you out. But more than anything else, it's leaning on God more than leaning on me. Please, I'm willing to sacrifice my success in radio if it means seeing your success bloom like there's no tomorrow. And it means enabling the filters. Filter out the sports, filter out the entertainment, filter out all this stuff so you can focus on what matters. Please. I saw this thing here, because you have to understand this whole process of enabling the filters is because one of the things I guess that frustrates us, and it frustrates me too, is the inconsistency that we see in the left, where they hold standards against us, but they won't hold those same standards against themselves. I saw this article where they said that the Secret Service is going to add former Joe Biden Secret Service agents to guard him because of the fact that they believe, in the future when he becomes president, because they believe that the Secret Service right now that are under Trump's detail are too political. So, see, do you recognize as people start clamoring about things being wrong, as people start clamoring about, again, listening to the left, sometimes we're going to even have to filter out their nonsense because they're too busy sitting there talking about our character when they're really talking about theirs. So we know the inconsistencies. We know that they're hypocrites. We know that we can't trust what they're saying is going to be right. I'm saying that we can start enabling these filters, because once you set off these triggers, it's going to allow you to be so successful, because you're going to be like, ain't nobody got no time for that. So because of the fact that following faith-based movies and exposing our children to more family-oriented, faith-oriented series, we decided to start the stream of Pure Flicks. And we were watching one yesterday and last night with Robin Givens and And it turned, so come to find out, here it is. We're watching this thing here. Well, I'll get back to that on the flip side. Let's do this. I'll tell you more about this movie that we watched last night with Robin Givens. Watson Prunier, Happy New Year from Battle for Freedom Mojo 5 Radio. I'll talk to you on the flip side. From COVID to lockdowns, to riots, to elections, 2020 has been nothing but a constant withdrawal for people around the world, and especially the United States. It's not only the mental and spiritual withdrawals, but the financial ones as well. Many businesses are closing their doors because of the lockdowns and no income. Sadly, many Americans are finding locks placed on the doors of their homes because of foreclosure due to the loss of income from extreme lockdown measures. Total Money Makeover does not prevent the pain. It attempts to proactively mitigate in the risk of financial failure because of these uncertain times. Budgeting is more essential now than you ever could imagine. Now is the time to make certain our finances are in order. Consider ordering Total Money Makeover by Dave Ramsey today. It is essential. Triggering change one heartbeat at a time. That is the purpose of Battle for Freedom. My biggest challenge is helping people see that they are constantly moving and never settled. They are not settled in life because they are spiritually and mentally homeless. James Otis wrote the following on the writs of assistance in 1761. One of the most essential branches of English liberty is the freedom of one's house. A man's house is his castle. I host Battle for Freedom on Mojo 5 Radio at 7 a.m. Monday through Friday for this very reason. Our homes are tattered because we have made too many allegiances to ideologies and movements solely created to keep us distracted, divided, and distanced from our foundation. Join me on Battle for Freedom, where I trigger change one heartbeat at a time. Battle for Freedom. Welcome back, everyone. This is Watson Prunier from Battle for Freedom on Mojo 5 Radio. Again, I'm your host, Watson Prunier from Battle for Freedom, and I appreciate every last one of you. Happy New Year. We are in a new year, and thank you, Stephen, for being part of the program. Be safe on your journeys and where you're going to go as you're listening on iHeartRadio. Please be safe. This whole idea, mojo50.com. Mojo50.com. A lot of new things are going to be coming up. If you go there right now, do me a favor. Go to mojo50.com, sign up, okay? Sign up, and basically you won't get spammed. Trust me, you will not get spammed. You can go to the shop, make purchases there. You can basically look at the schedule. You can basically give a donation if you want to. You can watch the show online. You can hear it. You can hear it there. If in 2020 you're going to filter out things like Facebook, and because I know a lot of people who decided that they're, like Alonzo Rachel. He's decided that he's going to get away from Facebook. I know Matt Bracken is another person that I appreciate and follow. They've left Facebook, and they've decided to move on to Parler or Gab or even MeWe. They've moved on to these other networks. So as you can disconnect from some of these sites, understand, connect to Mojo 50, and you can get everything you need on hearing, listening, or watching the videos that are available. You have that chance. You have that opportunity. The choice is yours. Enable your filtering and do it now. Another one of those. I mentioned that one already. 2020. I'm gonna do this other sponsor in a minute because it ties in with something else I want to talk about. But as we sit here, before going to the break, I was telling you that I was watching a movie with Robin Givens. I believe it's called On Angel's Wings. That was the name of the movie that we watched last night, and it was a very interesting movie. As you sit here watching how life can bear you down, you can be so desperate, and how God allows you to be a blessing to other people. I believe that that's what we were supposed to start seeing. Who are the people that God wanted us to bless last year? And what steps are we going to take this year on being a blessing? But we can't do that. We can't be a conduit of God's mercy, love, and grace if we allow a lot of clutter in our lives. A lot of clutter in our lives. And and again, in the first segment, I sat there telling you about this program here. You could download it. You can download it, trial it out, Atlassian Jira. This is what a lot of the developers and programmers and a lot of the teams are using at my job to be more to be very organized in what they do. Even I'm trying to get myself better at this in organization, program, visual management, visual project management. There's all these different things that you may think it doesn't matter right now, because the proverbial thing of, I told my teacher I'm not going to need math. I won't need quadratic equations and all that stuff. But you know what? Sometimes those tools are needed. You may not think that you need them now, but trust me, I found myself needing some of the quadratic equations. I found myself needing some of the trigonometric equations to help me with certain things that I needed to get done. It's just part of our lives of what we need to change. And if we refuse to do this, we refuse to make those adjustments now, we're going to find ourselves in misery and disappointment. So please turn on the filtering and let's see how we're going to do this. I know you can be successful. You will be successful, but you have to turn on the filtering. And it's a lot, because again, with it wall to wall, you're going to find a lot of this garbage. You're going to find a lot of the distractions that are out there to keep us from focusing on what really matters most. People are going to question your character. Let them question your character. Who cares? People gonna go on a campaign to destroy you because of the fact that they understand. Do you realize when people go after to try and ruin you, is because they see your success, and the only way that they can feel any kind of achievement in their life is to hinder you from your success. Whether it's trolls coming into your program and trying to basically keep you distracted from covering the topics that really matter, trolls that will try and sit there and again, the troll just doesn't have to be in social media. That troll could be at work. That troll could be a family member. That troll could be anyone who decides to come in and they want to throw a wrecking ball into your life. Not based on the truth, because there are times when God has to send a wrecking ball into our lives to get our attention, to get us to turn around and stop on a horrible path. Whether it's a talking donkey, I don't know what it is, but God sometimes has to get us off of this path that's leading us to death. Those trolls always welcomed. But the other ones who want to get in the way and block you from focusing on what matters most, get them out. Excuse them. Block them, ban them, delete them, whatever you need to do. You have to enabling the filtering, because you have to understand, when you start getting yourself worked up, when we start getting ourselves agitated, when we start getting ourselves so freaked out, you have to understand that because when we have got our emotions all worked up, it's because of the fact that we've ingested toxins that our body can't handle. And so whether our emotions are flaring, we get gout, and I feel horrible for the people who suffer gout, because that is not a good thing. And I wonder, that is there sometimes a psychological aspect to it that happens of some of those people when they go through those really painful moments? Is it because of the fact that they have turned around and ingested, not with their mouth, but maybe with their minds, with their eyes, with their ear, with their minds, they've ingested something that really does not offer any help to them? There's a lot of stress to this, worrying about this and being agitated about this and being frustrated about this. What are you taking in that your body is repulsing and it doesn't know how to figure out how to do this thing because you don't want to turn on the filtering? Oh, well, I've got to engage in the liberals and set them straight. No, you don't. You don't. Because do you recognize that while you're sitting there engaging in the liberals, having an argument with them, trying to prove to them something that they don't want to believe, no matter how much facts, how much information? Literally, when we sit here and we see how much data there is, where you have Pennsylvania, you have in counties with 200,000 more ballots than actual people voting were caught. You just don't have numbers like this. When you ask people, when they say, well, Donald Trump only had 74 million and Biden had 79 million, 80 million, and you sit here and we start doing the logical numbers up here that there's 22 million extra votes in this election process from ballots that have been counted. And people don't want to listen. But you're going to sit there and keep arguing with them like, I got to keep giving them information. No, listen. You had the Pharisees who studied the Word of God. They should have understood every sign of what was happening in the life of Jesus. These are people who memorized the Word of God. They could read back. They could recite to you the Bible in better than children reciting their alphabet, because the children only have 26 letters. But you're talking about books and books of the Bible. These people have memorized. And God incarnate, God in flesh, stood right in front of them, and their stubborn hearts refused to believe. Their stubborn hearts refused to bow to the King. If people can't look at that, if the most intelligent people in terms of God's word couldn't even recognize God in front of their face, trust me, you're wasting your time trying to convince people who refuse to see the election fraud that took place. Stop wasting your time. Filter those people out. Because if you keep engaging them, if you keep trying to push them and make them prove to them something that's going on there, like you feel like somehow, some way, me blasting this stuff is finally going to be the thing that makes the hit. It's going to be the final thing that wakes them up. You put all that energy into trying to help people who just can't be helped. Sorry. It's harsh, but it's real. I mean, let's look at some of the other different things. Like, sometimes you read the story, but look at the undertone of the story. So Elon Musk offloads 3 more properties in Bel Air. So Elon Musk is doing everything he can to get out of California. Elon Musk, one of the richest men in the world, is doing everything he can to get out of California, and we have people who are still staying there. I got to hold on. I can't leave. You have tons and tons of people who are leaving New York and people who just don't want to leave. I know it's a history, it's a life, it's so much different, so many different things that you've experienced and you've enjoyed, and it's been a blessing for you all these years. But the walls are crumbling down. The infrastructure is failing. Crime is out to wazoo, and we're holding on to something that is literally killing us. Like Lot's wife, who they said, don't turn back. Sodom and Gomorrah is going to be destroyed. Don't turn back. Just push forward on where I want you in your life. And she turned around because she was so fixated on the blessings and the memories of Sodom and Gomorrah. And she died. She became a pillar of salt. She became bitter, immovable, and dead. Bitter, immovable, and dead. And I believe that a lot of us in our pride, where you say, you can't fix stupid. It's not even just stupid, it's stubborn. It's stubborn because it's like, I'm putting my feet in the sand and there's no way you're going to tell me I can do anything different. Elon Musk is leaving California. Millions of people have been fleeing California. Millions of people have been fleeing New York. Millions of people have been fleeing Chicago. And everybody else wants to run right into the city. They want to run into these states. They want to move to these places where crime is out to wazoo. There's a time and place to take a stand. Yes. I don't know what that time and that place looks like for you. I'm just basically asking you to filter out the things that are distracting you from paying attention to what really matters the most. Because I believe that a lot of people are going to lose their lives in the midst of this. A lot of people are going to lose their lives because of the fact that they have they've been consumed, they've been weighed down. I think sometimes of the when I have my American Pride Roasters cup, American Pride Roasters coffee, Watson's white chocolate caramel. I have these little purple, pinkish, or maybe might be fuchsia, might be the color, Keurig cups with the filters built into them, and you put the coffee in there, and you put you put your coffee in there before you run it through the Keurig machine, and whether it's through those Keurig things, or even when you look at a coffee filter at work, or even the old school, you remember the old school coffee makers that were it was the metal can. There was no curvature to it whatsoever, and it had like the black handle, and it had the metal top, and then you basically had the metal container on the inside, and it had the pipe that you put it in, you fill it up, but when you sat there and when the coffee was done, or you could try and do it while it was still hot, or you waited a couple, like 20 minutes for it to cool down, you'd hit the filter into the garbage, trying to get the coffee grinds out of the filter, or out of the container, out of whatever you were holding, and you didn't want those extra coffee grinds to get in there. It would stain, or it would have a grainy, gritty, unpleasant experience. I think that right now a lot of us are having this grainy, gritty experience because we don't want to use a filter. See, when you have the regular paper filters, you can just pick up the filter, and as long as the coffee grains did not go outside, you can turn around and just pick up the filter and put it in the garbage. I think that sometimes as we start putting some of the filters on in our lives, we can just pick up the grains or grinds and dump it in the garbage. There's just certain things that we just shouldn't have to tolerate anymore in our lives if we really want to have more control on this. Happy New Year, Linda. Thank you for being part of the program. It's the choice, because you have to understand there are certain things that we keep doing, folks, that just really wear us out. And I'm just thinking that when we make time to filter out, the things that matter, we can hear and pay attention to one of the things that do matter. I don't have it. No, I'm gonna find this, because this is something that was really scary, and I'm so glad that this young lady is still alive. But I saw this last week, and it was about, well, last year. I saw this last year. Could have been 24 hours ago, but that was still last year. This was really scary, about this young lady who had this horrific experience. And sometimes when we're not paying attention, sometimes when we're alone, sometimes when we want to filter out the world and we can get a little bit on the reckless side, we could put ourselves in harm's way. And I saw this very dangerous, scary story that happened to this young lady the other day. And I want to find this because here it is. Okay. So here was a story about a young lady who was in, and looks like a little girl. Looks like a little girl. I'm not going to lie to you. I see this, and it's hard for me to look at this image because of the fact that it looks like it could be one of my daughters. It could be one of my daughters who are in the midst of this situation here, helpless, and wanting to escape from the world because it's so wearing down. It's so evil. It's so wicked. It's so disgusting that it just drains you mentally and physically. But sometimes we could put ourselves in a position where the worst case scenario could happen and we could potentially lose our lives. This woman basically said, our family had a scare tonight that could have been tragic, but God protected our family. Elizabeth, 8 years old. So she's the age of my oldest princess. Was taking a bath in our jacuzzi bathtub. She went underwater to rinse her hair. The suction valve quickly sucked her hair through the holes of the suction cover, pinning her under the water. Thankfully, the water wasn't covering her mouth, and she was able to scream for help. Had the water been any higher, or had we had not been in the room, the outcome may have been very different. We wanted to share this because we've never even thought of something like this happening. and we want others to be aware. After the water drained, Jason was able to carefully thread her hair out, and we were prepared to cut it off, but since she is not in any harm, we took a few minutes to save her hair. As you see this, it's so scary because I'm not going to lie to you. 8 years old, that's my daughter. My daughter has long hair like that. That scared me. That frightened me. But sometimes when we're filtered, because what if the parents decided they wanted to watch football? What if the parents decided that they wanted to be so busy, so fixated on streaming services or something else that they had no matter of potential, and they felt you could just go in there, sweetie, and you just take a bath. You go rinse your hair out. We're trusting you. You're perfectly fine. Because we can't miss this opportunity. We can't miss this sale. We can't miss this moment on TV because we got to see it. Our reality TV program's on. Go on. You go wash your hair, little sweetie. We'll get back to you. It's very dangerous if we don't filter out the things that keep us distracted from the things that matter most. Please, I'm begging you, change and do different. Oh my goodness, that scared me to death on that. Sometimes there's other areas where we can, and when I'm talking about filtering too, it's the negativity in your past that you have to do this. There was an article I was watching where it says there was this trend on Facebook where women were basically posting, hilarious memes and pictures and statements from their previous relationships and how people made here it is. Shout out to my ex. Women let rip in hilarious letters to former partners about why it went wrong, including one who sent her sex toy meant for his mistress. You have to understand something. In the midst of all this, and we see all the negativity of the people who are definitely not meant to be part of our lives. They're exes for a reason. Let them be exes. Physically, mentally, spiritually, in every way possible. If you have children together, I understand you can't do anything about that. But sometimes we hang on to those past failures like it gives us some sense of being or some sense of purpose on that life. Like this is how we move on by holding on to the anchors of the past that are just not part of our lives. So that filtering sometimes actually means filtering out the negativity that did not contribute to us being successful. Now, maybe, yes, there were lessons to be learned in those broken relationships and things like that, but harboring on those and constantly bringing it back up does nothing except fill the pride in our hearts like we're so much better without them. And I'm sitting there thinking, did you ever think that they're so much better without us? Filtering that pride out helps us put it in the right perspective. Leave the past. Let the past be the past. Learn from it. Grow from it. But don't keep regurgitating it because it won't help you. It won't help you. Now, here's one that, this is a drastic measure I'm taking because of the fact that I told you last week I didn't like my weight. I didn't like my weight to see where I was and how things were not moving in the right direction for me. I found myself a lot heavier than I wanted to. I'm cutting a lot of sugars out of my life, and I'm even cutting alcohol. I cut out alcohol for the end of the year, and I also cut it out for this whole year of 2021. Zero alcohol. Zero alcohol. Zero alcohol. Here's an article I saw on Daily Mail. It says, what alcohol really does to your body. Experts reveal the changes you'll see each week in a dry January, from a flatter tummy after 7 days to fewer lines in a fortnight. They reveal, the doctors say short-term benefits can appear just after 1 week without alcohol. And this whole idea is, I know it's the Happy New Year. Let's celebrate. Let's drink. Let's get. I mean, literally, I'm walking through Trader Joe's yesterday and trying to justify to myself, my wife and I, we can close out this year. Let's get. There's some sparkling wine. It can't be that bad. It can't be that bad. Let's get some sparkling wine. Let's just do this. No, cut it out. Cut it out. Now, if y'all want to keep drinking, by all means, do whatever you need to do. I'm not saying I'm completely ditching everything, because there's some interesting alcohols I have left over, but they're going to sit on the shelves, and they're not. And I'm not tempted to go and drink them. I can sit there and say I can do my life without them. If you drink, I don't condemn you. That's on you. Do what you need to do. I know what I'm doing. And I'm filtering out alcohol. I'm filtering out some really bad sugars, and I'm even going to do the best that I can to filter out fast foods this year too. See if I can go without Wendy's. See if I can go without Wendy's for the next year. See if I can go without Qdoba for the next year. See if I can go without a lot of these fried foods. Probably one of the biggest ones that I'm going to struggle giving up, Dunkin' Donuts and Chick-fil-A. I've maybe not do Chick-fil-A as much as I've done it, but maybe do Chick-fil-A once a quarter. Once a month or once a quarter. Or twice a year. But it's this whole idea of filtering out things that we've just been so used to. Here's another one, too, that I saw. There was this story about this bride's fiance brother. This bride, her fiance's brother, got engaged and got his girlfriend the same exact ring that she got from her fiance, and they booked the same wedding place, I think in the same weekend, and she's freaked out because he's copying and doing whatever she's doing. And I'm sitting thinking, I'm like, why are you so fixated on what other people are doing? It doesn't matter. If you've got copycats in your life, be flattered and move on with your life. But if you live your life trying to be unique and you don't want anyone else to be like you, you're going to make yourself miserable, and you're going to make everybody else miserable around you, because you feel like the world has to be unique around you and everyone can be the same. My success has to be my success. Don't copy off of me. And I think there's a dangerous thing in that, because of the fact that we believe that it has to happen our way, that we're in control, and anyone copying off of me. When you allow other people to control your life, you're not living correctly. And you haven't figured out a way to filter out their activities, whether it's copycat in nature. If you don't figure out how to do this now, it's going to hurt you negatively. It's going to hurt you negatively. Enable the filtering. 2021, it's a new year, and I know that you can do this. The question is what do you want to do? Are you willing to take those steps and stop being held back by other people's activities? The choice is yours on what you want to do. I'm asking, what are you going to do from there? Here's one I want to get into quickly before we come to a break here in a few minutes here. It says, and it's on Daily Mail, it says, music-induced emotions activate regions of the brain involved with processing sound and controlling movements. It says, happy and sad music activate the auditory and motor cortex. The auditory cortex helps us perceive sound. It also processes melody and rhythm, and the motor cortex plans and controls your voluntary movements. Experts say this is the area activated because music inspires feelings or movement. Well, that's why I want to get into New Life Holistic.
Does your mind seem like it often shuts down before it even starts? Sounds like you need to detox to improve your health in body, mind, and spirit. I'd like to tell you about New Life Holistic. It is an amazing therapy process that uses neurofeedback and biofeedback for many issues that ails everyone. New Life's method and approach to health, balance, energy, and vitality is what sets it apart from anything you have experienced ever before. Call 1-833-4-BIO-LIFE and tell them Watson from Battle4Freedom had sent you. One more thing. Give them the code MOJO50 and save $50 off of your first session. The consult is free. New Life Holistic.
New Life Holistic. Let them, you enjoy the music. I'm downloading new worship music, and I'm just getting into a new phase for this year too, as I filter things out in my life. And I'm encouraging you to do the same thing as well too. But one of the things I don't want to forget is the whole idea of the attitude of gratitude. If you can this year, please, I'd love to hear some stories from you. Great stories of how we have filtered out all the other craziness and been able to be a difference in the life and bless someone else on enabling filtering. I saw this. This is a powerful video, and I want to close out with this one here. Here's a story about a moment a dog saves blind 14-year-old pit bull from drowning and pulls the pit bull. So get this. This pit bull is blind, and this other dog wants to help it. And it's trying to figure out a way to do this because the pit bull is blind. It cannot see. And this dog is feverishly fighting and figuring out a way, not leaving his side. It's almost like the story of the little girl who got her hair caught in the jacuzzi suction stream. This little dog valiantly fought to save this other dog's life. When we're so busy with other people's nonsense, we're never around to pull out those people who are drowning. We're never around to pull out those people who are drowning. Folks, I'm your host, Watson Prenade from Battle for Freedom. Happy New Year. Let's do this the right way, enabling the filtering in your life and take back control is so important. God bless and take care.